Hello, dear viewers! You are watching a new episode titled, Every American Should Know This. This is Hamster NBC, and today we will discuss several recent and important news stories from the US that have emerged in just the last 3 or 4 hours. With a touch of humor, as political news for kids can also be useful and even amusing. US Border Patrol officially expands operations in Northern California. First news. About an hour ago, it was announced that US Border Patrol plans to launch expanded raids and operations in the San Francisco Bay Area and surrounding suburbs. Imagine a giant game of hide and seek. Only instead of children on the playground, there are agencies and checks, and instead of find me, there are passports and documents. This is a signal that the federal government is taking a more active role in immigration issues, meaning that adult decisions are impacting the lives of families, schools, and local communities. If you live or travel to California, it might be worth checking your passport beforehand, like you're a spy on vacation. We'll likely see protests, legal disputes, and state versus federal disputes in the coming days. For kids, what usually happens on the playground suddenly changes, only on a larger scale. The US Treasury Department is imposing new sanctions against Russian oil companies. Second news. About 3 hours ago, it was announced that the US is imposing sanctions against 2 of Russia's largest oil companies for refusing to end the war in Ukraine. Imagine Russia and the US playing a grand chess match, but instead of the usual pieces, they're playing oil barrels and sanctions chips. Oil and gas are one of the world's largest markets. When the US hits Russian oil companies, it can impact gasoline prices, home heating costs, and family budgets. Imagine your favorite brand of ice cream suddenly going up in price, and it happened because of adults selling barrels and pushing sanctions buttons. Expect Russia to respond within a week, either through countermeasures or through cooperation with other countries. Trade disruptions, rising prices, and lots of headlines in newspapers and on TV are possible. The US Department of Defense is changing its rules for communicating with Congress. Third news. Approximately 2 to 4 hours ago, it was announced that the Pentagon is limiting its officials' direct communication with Congress. Now almost all correspondence must go through the Assistant Secretary for Legislative Affairs. Imagine that at school, all the kids want to ask permission to go to the restroom, but now they have to fill out a form instead of just raising their hand. Imagine a line and a form to leave. This affects oversight, transparency, and how the government holds itself accountable to the people. Less direct communication means it's harder for children, that is, citizens, to ask why. When a teacher says they should only go through the principal, it means simple questions are becoming more complex. It's possible that reporting procedures are strengthened, or, conversely, that there's less transparency, which can worry citizens. For families, it's a question of trust. If adults can't simply ask why, things get worse. In conclusion, these 3 topics share a common thread. We discussed immigration raids in California, sanctions against Russian oil companies, and the restriction of communication between the Pentagon and Congress. What do they have in common? All 3 show that power is growing, control is increasing, and the decisions of adults directly affect ordinary people and even children. If you're a child or a teenager, you might think politics is boring. Monitor how these decisions affect your region. For example, if you're in California, pay attention to immigration. Discuss at home. Why did they do that? How could this affect us? Learn. Politics and the news aren't just adult conversations. They impact games, schools, families, and vacations. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next episode, where we'll once again examine what's happening in the USA and why it matters.